Flaherty, what was your official title during your time at the Biden White House?
Congresswoman, when I was at the White House, I was Assistant to the President and Director of Digital Strategy.
And that is an appointed position, correct?
It is, Congresswoman.
Okay. Now, did you take an oath to the United States Constitution when you assumed this appointment?
Yes, Congresswoman.
Perfect. And you're familiar with the First Amendment?
I am.
Can you please outline the 5 tenets of the First Amendment for me?
Congresswoman, I'm not going to be able to do it off the top of my head, but generally the First Amendment relates to freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, and off the top of my head, I'm not able to recall all of the planks.
Oof, well, that's disappointing and a little embarrassing, but not surprising considering what we're dealing with here today. Now, I certainly wouldn't expect that someone who cannot outline the basic tenets of the First Amendment to uphold the Constitution, of which you took an oath to defend, but here we are today. Now, you've said multiple times here that you cannot recall certain conversations, communications, correct?
Congresswoman, I left the White House almost a year ago. These discussions happened more than 2 years ago. Certainly there are a number of discussions related to this that I'm not able to recall.
Okay, so you agree that you have said multiple times here you cannot recall?
Congresswoman, yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. And I'm so glad that we have receipts, because we have come with receipts. In fact, all of your emails from that time. So we're going to help you recall some of these conversations. On February 6, 2021, at 9:45 p.m., we love our timestamps, you emailed Twitter to demand immediate removal of a parody or imposter account linked to Biden's adult daughter. You stated, quote, "Please remove this account immediately." Then you went on to say, "I have tried using your form 3 times and it won't work. It is also ridiculous that I need to upload my ID to a form to prove that I am an authorized representative of Finnegan Biden." Now, 2 minutes later, at 9:47 p.m., Twitter responded right back to you. "Thanks for sending this over. We'll escalate for further review from here." Mr. Flaherty, do you recall this exchange?
Congresswoman, I do recall that exchange.
Okay, so you still stand by how you have handled this situation in making it clear that you needed action immediately from a social media company?
Congresswoman, the White House Office of Digital Strategy absolutely has an equity in protecting the president's grandchild from online harassment and impersonation.
Sure, I would expect nothing less, but I'm just saying there's a common theme here, right? So you then escalated a little bit more, and within that same minute, so literally 60 seconds, cannot stress the degree to which this needs to be resolved immediately. 45 minutes later, at 10:32, Twitter responded, "Here's an update, the account is now suspended." Now, the next day, February 9th, you followed up with an email to Facebook with a demand for more information and an accusation that Facebook's failure to, quote, "censor speech on its platform is causing political violence." Those are your words. Causing political violence. Do you believe that the failure to censor Americans' First Amendment, constitutionally protected speech is considered political violence?
Congresswoman, I don't remember the specific email in question. I'm happy to take a look at it and observe the context, but I don't recall what you're referencing.
Well, and I will say I am disappointed because we have presented receipts here today, but we have also shown how timely you have been in engaging at all hours of the night with social media companies during your tenure as a representative to the highest levels of the White House. Again, your words, despite the fact that earlier my colleague, Representative Gates, was trying to clarify who is we that you speak of. You say in your emails that you represent the highest levels of government in the White House. But I find it ridiculous that it took us over a year for you to appear before this committee. In fact, it was after you actually missed your deposition, refused to show up. We had you scheduled in January and then again in February of this year, and you chose not to appear. Now, is it safe to assume that in your role as the deputy campaign manager for the Joe Biden re-election campaign, that you speak on behalf of the campaign or the President of the United States?
Congresswoman, I'm here to discuss my interactions with social media companies when I worked at the White House from January 2021 until June 2023. I'm not here to discuss the campaign.
But you're basically saying that you don't speak for President Joe Biden or his campaign, and you didn't speak for him during your time at the White House. So either you have completely misrepresented your role, or you are trying everything possible to make sure that your correspondence with social media companies directly threatening, coercing these companies to silence Americans who disagreed with the political agenda of the Biden administration happened.
Congresswoman, I'll note I'm here voluntarily to discuss my discussions with social media companies while I was in the White House, and I'm happy to answer those
But a year late and $1 short. So with that,
Simon.
Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. The chair